Welcome along to Complete Aviation Solutions Deep Dive number 127. Today we're taking a focused look, a real deep dive into three areas that are really shaping aviation right now. We've got some fascinating source material here, everything from plans for, well, seamlessly luxurious new airport lounges to insights into global travel mobility, how easy it is to get around, and even a pretty heated debate about the tech that could change airport security completely. So, our mission for you today is to pull out the key insights, give you those aha moments, and really help you grasp what's going on in the skies and in the terminals, too. We're going to unpack these developments, look at the knock on effects for, well, your whole travel experience. Okay, let's kick things off with something directly impacting passengers. Some quite exciting news, actually. One source we looked at highlights some really ambitious plans for a major airline's new flagship lounge. We're talking about redefining comfort at a key international airport here. Apparently, this new lounge is going to nearly double in size overall. That'll make it the most spacious one they have anywhere in their network.
Yeah, and what's really interesting, I think, is how clearly this is being driven by customer feedback. The airline flat out says it's about more space, more seating, and the ability to choose how they spend their time.
Mm.
So this isn't just, adding chairs. It's responding to that feeling travelers have, being tired of crowded spaces, wanting more control, more personalization before they fly.
Okay.
They're bringing in specific zones like quiet areas for working, play areas for families, social spots for grabbing a coffee. It's a definite shift away from that old one-size-fits-all lounge idea.
It really sounds like it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're actually splitting it into two distinct lounges.
Mm-hmm.
One for the elite members and business class folks, and another for other loyalty members. And the total seating, it's jumping by 70%. That's a huge increase, aimed squarely at boosting comfort for international travelers.
70% is massive.
It is, and it's a big investment, long-term thinking. Construction starts early 2026, apparently in two phases. The whole thing should be open by late 2027. And they're even thinking about the disruption, guiding people to temporary spots, sending updates through their app. So they're managing the journey even during the build.
Yeah, thinking ahead. And, this focus on the passenger,
Yeah.
it isn't just happening on the ground. That's a key point. Another source we saw talks about an airline getting its first new aircraft, one that promises a signature wide-body experience, but on short and medium routes.
Ah, okay.
Which is quite a change, right? Because normally that kind of premium setup was just for the long-haul international stuff.
That does sound like a game changer for regional travel, absolutely. So this plane, the first of 30, it's got a 3-cabin layout that really lifts the standard. Think about it. Private, enclosed first suites, fully flat beds, big 20-inch 4K screens, a proper sanctuary up there.
Mm-hmm.
Then a business cabin, 14 seats, wide body style in a 1-1 herringbone so everyone gets aisle access. And even in economy, 144 seats, but designed for comfort, 13.3-inch 4K touchscreens, USB charging. They've really thought about the details.
And the connectivity piece, which, let's face it, is crucial. Now it gets even better. This aircraft has high-speed Wi-Fi. We're talking speeds good enough for streaming, gaming, browsing properly, not just basic email.
Right. Real Wi-Fi.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're rolling it out progressively on Asian routes, aiming for full availability from September 2025. This whole aircraft program, it's part of a huge expansion. The airlines launched or announced 27 new routes in just 1 year.
Wow.
Yeah, aiming for 38 million passengers a year by 2030. So it's clear they're committed to growth, comfort, and recognizing that, the lines between short and long flights are blurring when it comes to what passengers expect.
Okay, so from that individual passenger comfort level, let's sort of zoom out a bit. Let's look at the bigger picture of global travel, specifically the dynamics of passport power, which are actually quite surprising, and how they reflect what's happening in international relations. This isn't just about, how many stamps you can get. It's a fascinating look at how access is shifting globally.
Absolutely. If you tie this into the bigger picture, a well-known passport index, which uses global travel data, it's showing some really significant shifts, things that might genuinely surprise you. For instance, for the first time, an Asian nation now has the world's most powerful passport.
Really?
Yeah, offering visa-free access to 193 destinations globally out of 227. That's incredible access. And 2 other Asian nations are tied for second place, both with 190 destinations. It's not just a minor shuffle, it feels like a real rebalancing.
What really jumps out at me there is, okay, you've still got a strong European presence near the top, but some countries we traditionally thought of as, well, passport powerhouses, they've actually dropped down the list. Two major Western nations, once number one, are now down at 6th and 10th. And one of them is close to falling out of the top 10 entirely for the first time in the index's 20-year history. That's a pretty big signal about global influence, isn't it? What's driving these changes, do you think? What are the surprising bits?
Well, that's the key question, right? The person who actually invented the index points out that access is earned and must be maintained through active and strategic diplomacy.
Hmm.
So it's not just about economic power anymore. It's about soft power, how good nations are at building alliances, negotiating those visa waiver deals, using cultural exchange, the decline of some traditional players. It suggests maybe their diplomatic priorities have shifted, or perhaps they haven't been as quick to adapt to this changing world. Travel freedom is really becoming a direct measure of how proactive a country is globally.
Right, a direct reflection. And you see examples of that upward movement, too. Like one South Asian nation made the biggest jump in rank recently, up 8 places. And a Middle Eastern kingdom added the most new visa-free destinations, 4 more. These aren't small adjustments. They're strategic wins for their citizens.
Exactly. And if you look long term, there's a clear global trend towards more openness. The average number of places you can go visa-free has almost doubled in the last, nearly 20 years,
Yeah.
from 58 in 2006 to 109 now. That's a huge shift towards greater mobility.
Wow.
One Middle Eastern country is a real standout, shot up 34 places into the top 10 over the last decade. And a major Asian economy, also up 34 places since 2015, which is really impressive because they don't even have visa-free access to Europe's Schengen area yet. Their rise seems to be down to a big push for openness. They've granted visa-free access to over a dozen new countries recently, including all the Gulf Cooperation Council nations and several South American ones.
And this increased openness, particularly from Asia, it's directly feeding into air travel growth, isn't it?
Yes.
Global air travel demand overall was up, 5.8% in the first 5 months of 2025. And Asia-Pacific Airlines led that charge with 9.5% growth. So even with uncertainties out there, people seem confident, bookings for summer look strong. So maybe for listeners who always felt good about their passport's power, well, the scoreboard is changing.
It really is. The data suggests those traditional mobility champs are, losing a bit of ground in a world that's becoming more multipolar. We're even seeing reports of citizens from some of those legacy power countries actively looking into alternative residency or even citizenship. They understand a passport isn't just for travel anymore. It reflects diplomatic clout, economic ties, international relationships. It changes how we see global access, maybe even national identity.
Okay, so we've talked comfort, we've talked access. But a huge part of the journey is often that bit before you even board airport security. And right now, there's a really significant debate, sometimes quite controversial, happening in a major Western nation about the future of biometrics in airports.
This is a really critical discussion. There's a proposed bill, it's under Senate review right now, and it aims to seriously restrict facial recognition and other biometrics by default. So instead of it being the standard way things work, you'd have to specifically opt in, give explicit permission to use those systems.
And the industry airports, they're really sounding the alarm on this, aren't they?
Oh, loudly, yeah.
They're warning this bill could basically derail years of work on digital transformation, could actually undermine national security, and would definitely mean longer waits for travelers. They're arguing it puts all the recent progress in modernizing screening at risk, like taking a big step backwards.
And they've got data to back that up, or so they claim. Reports they cite suggest biometrics can boost airport throughput by a pretty amazing 30%.
30%? Wow.
Yeah, and digital IDs using this tech can cut boarding times by 30% too. And overall, wait times at security, slashed by up to 60%. Those aren't small improvements. That's a potentially huge difference to your journey, especially when it's busy.
Those numbers are definitely compelling. But what are the main worries then? Or the practical hurdle stopping biometrics being everywhere right now? It brings up that classic tension, doesn't it? Privacy versus efficiency.
That's exactly the heart of the debate. From the industry side, they argue that banning biometrics actually harms security because people could choose manual checks and potentially avoid the very accurate biometric screening that might catch, say, an imposter. Plus, it means longer queues, makes staffing less efficient because you need more people instead of tech, and it blocks innovation like those automated e-gates or biometric check-in tools.
Right.
The privacy concerns usually revolve around, how the data is stored, who sees it, could it be misused. But the industry advocates argue the current rules and frameworks are already strong.
And the timing is pretty crucial, too. You've got
Yeah.
major global events on the horizon, a big international football tournament in 2026, a national anniversary celebration that same year, the Summer Olympics in 2028. The industry's warning that passing this bill now could lead to just overwhelming and chaotic environments at every airport security checkpoint. It paints a picture of total gridlock and very unhappy travelers, especially for events drawing huge international crowds.
And while they're pushing hard for the tech, the industry groups do acknowledge privacy is a big deal. They say data privacy and security are top concerns for half of airlines and airports. They stress that the security agency already has a solid privacy framework, things like deleting photos after a set time, clear ways for passengers to opt out if they want to. And critically, they point out that these systems have actually identified over 2,200 imposters since 2018,
Wow.
threats that might have slipped through otherwise. That underscores the security argument. So they're pushing lawmakers for a more balanced approach. They seem pretty disappointed the bill got this far without public hearings or really getting input from the experts on the ground. It sort of sounds like sci-fi, but maybe the helpful kind where the tech actually gets you to your gate faster, which, let's be honest, most travelers would probably welcome.
So, wrapping this all up, what does it mean for you, the person traveling? We've looked at how airlines are rethinking lounges and the actual flight experience, how passport power is shifting around the globe, and this really critical debate over biometrics at the airport.
Yeah, looking at the big picture, all these things just highlight how the industry is constantly moving, innovating, adapting all the time. Whether it's adding comfort and luxury, dealing with complex global politics, or pushing forward with security tech, aviation is always in flux, always trying to make journeys smoother, faster, safer.
The future of travel definitely looks like it'll be more connected, maybe more luxurious, more personalized in ways. But it's also going to be shaped by these really key decisions about technology and how countries relate to each other. So as you plan your next trip, maybe think about how these changes from a fancier lounge to the shifting value of your passport will keep shaping your own adventures in the years ahead.